final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. It's 5...
Which one of us should start?
I don't know.
Alright, I'll start. This is gonna be weird for the first episode.
First episode.
I feel weird going like, "Hi, welcome to Boldly Go," but that's kind of what I have to do.
Hi, welcome to Boldly Go.
And it's not the. I'm sure it's not the first Star Trek podcast, but it's got to be the. It's the first one that uses that name because I looked up Boldly Go podcast and nothing came up.
How can you not use it?
I don't know. I guess there's nobody. I guess nobody was like, "Oh, let's make a show where we just watch Star Trek." But we did, or I guess I did.
And I went along with it.
Yeah.
Because I've watched it before.
Basically, since it's the first episode, we gotta tell them what's going on. So, it's her, Big Bad Breen, Sabrina Spencer.
Yes.
And then me, Nick Fox. She's the one that's seen all the Star Treks up to Deep Space Nine. You haven't finished Deep Space Nine.
I
right?
haven't even gone back to it.
Yeah, she doesn't like Deep Space Nine.
Not so far.
She's one of the first people. She's one of the first people I know that liked Voyager way more than Deep Space Nine.
I love Voyager. It was adorable.
Apparently, it's like a redheaded stepchild.
It is.
Speaking of redheaded stepchilds, we'll get to those in a minute.
Yeah.
And then there's me, who's never seen any Star Trek, more or less. Like, I know a lot about it. Like, McCoy is my boy. And I did not mean for that to rhyme.
Right.
I did not mean for it to rhyme.
You're a badass rapper. There you go.
But yeah. So I do like Star Trek. I just haven't watched it all the way through like she has. So we're going from the very beginning. Not even the beginning. The beginning.
We are going to not just the pilot, but the pilot called The Cage, where I don't think it was actually like aired as Star Trek because it doesn't seem like Star Trek at all.
It's like an episode of The Twilight Zone that goes on for too long.
Like, none of your favorite characters are in it. Like, Uhura's not in it, McCoy isn't in it, Chekhov isn't in it, Scotty, Sulu, like, nobody.
I'm disappointed there's no McCoy, but I gotta admit, my new favorite character, Gingerbread. Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread.
Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread. Gingerbread is the redhead helmsman that is throughout the show.
He's a khaki shirt, which that's another weird thing. And everything you know about Star Trek is not in this first one, except for Spock.
It legitimately seems like the Twilight Zone.
There's an Asian guy in it, but it's not Sulu. Unless you're racist.
No.
They all look alike. Okay, should we just start with the notes? We gotta include the photo of these notes side by side. Because we both took notes. I have exactly one note and a bunch of pictures.
I think I have 10 pages worth of notes.
And hers are extensive of like everything we said during watching it.
I just didn't want to forget.
Okay. Should we start with like overall review? Just like before we go into the summary?
Yeah, that should be fine.
It was way too long, I think.
It was incredibly long. I thought it should have ended like, I don't know.
I think it should have ended at like 40 minutes.
It was about like an hour long.
Because I think it went like 10 minutes of it was just watching Pike fuck around in dreams.
I mean, the beginning of it was like at least 3 minutes of just like the ship zooming back and forth.
Yeah. It's like the intro is like, instead of the thing you normally know as the intro, the one we played in the beginning, it's just like the Enterprise just flying past the screen. Like they're late for an appointment.
Did I leave the oven on?
And then where did it go from there? I forgot.
It went into the bridge where we see Captain Pike sitting down instead of the Captain Kirk.
Which is another thing. Like the whole Enterprise seems darker. Like it's like when Kirk came in, he was like, "We should bring some lights in here." Well, like when Captain Pike was there, he's like, "Leave the dimmers low." I like a romantic setting.
Keep it low. My thoughts are dark.
I gotta pay for the electric bill in this bitch. And then speaking of electricity, all the navigators get little desk lamps for their navigation stuff. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
They just had little desk lamps over like their equipment.
See, it's supposed to be really high tech, but a lot of it seemed like it wasn't.
Like you could tell it was the 60s.
Like the giant clipboard.
Oh yeah, when Pike goes into his room with his like so trying to be McCoy doctor, but like not, because like. Just like Kirk, he has a best bro who's a doctor, but like he's not McCoy. He's like
the lame McCoy.
He's like McCoy's cousin who like became a doctor to be like McCoy but failed.
And he served his martini in like measuring beakers.
Yeah, in beakers.
Do you know what was probably in that? Like urine.
That was not my first thought, but yeah, that's a possibility. Well, he doesn't seem like he actually does any doctor thing. You never saw any duty that like McCoy. Like he's like he like helps a woman give birth and everything. Like this guy like gave drinks out, and then was like walking around talking about the solidation of the table.
Yeah, he's not a very good doctor. So should we start on my notes?
Yeah, let's go.
See,
Note 1.
Note 1, I guess. Same one over and over.
We got to mention our failed attempt.
Oh yeah, okay. We attempted to start the episode, and we're watching it on Netflix on my TV, and the volume was not on. So thought
it was 3 minutes of the Enterprise zipping back and forth in space. It's probably more realistic.
Yeah.
Because there's no sound in space, so like if you're just sitting there, you're just seeing a ship go back and forth.
Yeah, it was just silent. And then Pike and Spock came on, and we were like, shouldn't they be saying something? So that was our first
And then the
start.
other tragedy is when we... Because like, they say like shows won't be good unless there's some kind of big tragedy that happens beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you like break your leg before an opera or something.
Yeah.
Like ours was I choked on a piece of popcorn chicken during the break before we started recording. So yeah.
So hopefully this is good. But my notes include it's the same zipping across back and forth for like 3 minutes as previously said, but I found that amazing.
Oh yeah, it was like if some kid had a sticker of the Enterprise and was just like going back and forth on his glow-in-the-dark stickers on his ceiling.
And some of the animation for it is cheesy, but then some of it is like rather good considering the time period. It's like, yeah, I can dig.
One thing I didn't get, like when after it zips back and forth and it zooms in on the Enterprise and it goes into the bridge, like it looks like it's like they're insinuating that the bridge has a glass ceiling, which would be cool because like you never actually see it.
That would be cool, yeah.
Like you never actually see the ceiling if you think about it. So like, what if they just looked up one day and there's just a glass ceiling?
I would find that fantastic.
Although I feel like that would be really dangerous considering how much like battle they get into. It's like just aim for the bridge. Like you'll break the window, they'll all get sucked into a vacuum.
Let's see.
What's next?
I had "Where are you going?" because where were they going? It just
oh yeah, like they didn't really have any mission because like Pike doesn't give a captain's log or anything, so you have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, it just...
Did they say at any point?
No, they didn't say what they were doing. They just like found a planet.
Like the Starfleet was like, yeah, Enterprise, just fuck off.
Just go do something else, somewhere else. And then, let's see, one of the things that I like is that there is a woman first officer. You'd never see that again. I mean, in Voyager, you see a woman captain.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know Janeway's a captain.
Yeah, but not a first officer.
Yeah.
But, let's see.
She's better.
There's that fantastic note guy in the beginning. He tries to deliver a
Pike.
memo to Pike, and Pike completely ignores him, so he just, like, quickly stuffs it back in his folder.
I guess they didn't notice that when they did the take of it, or they just didn't have the film. But like, was he supposed to do that? Was Pike supposed to get the note?
I think Pike was supposed to take the note, and the guy was just like, "Oh shit, oh shit."
And so he just stood awkwardly next to the captain's chair. Well, you know what's funny though is at the end when they all did their triumphant like "This is Star Trek" pose at the end, he was in the exact same position, like he was about to drop off another memo.
That Pike was inevitably going to be ignored. Let's see. And then,
maybe that's why they don't know what they're doing. Pike doesn't read any of the memos that come from Starfleet.
Pike is a douchebag. I don't like him.
Doesn't seem like he's captain material.
It's like he ended up captain because his father is rich or something.
It's like if in Next Generation Riker's first day they were just like, "You're captain now."
Let's see. Their clothes were really intense.
Oh, like how they had like the khaki squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no red shirts in the first episode, which I was disappointed by, and no one died.
Yeah.
It seems like after Kirk showed up,
At least one person died. I feel like per episode.
Like after Kirk showed up, like there was a huge body count in Starfleet. Do you think Starfleet was like getting fucking death counts from Enterprise and was just like, what? Why is everybody dying? And then like Kirk was just like, it's space, and then they were like, that's not a reason.
And then he like ran away.
And then he went and banged their wives. And drank a lot.
Let's see, and then
yeah, I can't wait for episode 2 of the show because we get Shatner.
While Pike goes back to his room and then has drinks with his doctor, he lays down on the bed and
he does
his doctor to draw me like one of his French girls.
Yeah, he does the Kate Winslet in Titanic pose. He's very sexy.
He does it several times. Like he got up and then he went back down.
Which is to say, Pike's not a bad looking guy.
Yeah.
Like I said, he looks like Ray Liotta. Look up Ray Liotta if you're listening to this. It looks just like him.
It does. He is literally like the worst doctor in the world, though, and he's just wearing a robe.
Yeah, like the medical staff doesn't get blue shirts; they just get fucking like what? It was just like a blue robe and like a plumber's shirt.
Or it looked like pajamas.
I might as well have just had Mitch as like his name tag.
Speaking of blue, the obsession that Star Trek seems to have with blue eyes in the original series, like there's very few people with brown eyes. And whenever they zoom in on the eyes, they're all shiny and beautiful.
I think the first mate like chick had brown eyes, but she wasn't in much of the episode actually.
Yeah, but they don't focus in on the ones who don't have blue eyes.
I guess it's just because blue eyes look cooler. And this is like when color first came around.
They're like, whoa. Let's see.
Wait, announce yourself. Isn't that when Spock came on this thing?
Oh yeah, he came on the
like intercom.
Yeah,
system.
the intercom, which was a video, and he was like, Mr. Spock here, but why would you announce yourself when they can obviously see you?
I mean, I guess it's protocol, but like it's not like he needs to because it's Spock. You can tell it's him.
He's literally the only Vulcan.
You could show a photo of his eyebrow and it'd be like, oh, it's Spock.
Let's see. I don't know why, but one of my notes is pork pilot.
Pork pilot.
If anybody can explain this to me, I would be so grateful.
Was it pale pilot? Parole pilot? I don't know.
No, it literally looks like pork pilot.
It does. It looks like poor pilot because it's got like an L.
No, I'm sticking with pork pilot.
I think we'd have to go back and look what happened. But
continuing on.
I don't really feel like watching it again. Oh yeah, the warp speed disco ball. When they go into warp speed, there's a disco ball. It's supposed to be space going by, but it's just a disco ball.
And then, what did you say about the NASA?
NASA made like an actual 3D model of what a warp drive ship would look like. If they got the money to make it, which hopefully they do. I want to ride in a warp drive ship.
Me too.
I want to get a disco ball. We could just turn this room into a warp drive right now. We just need a disco ball.
Maybe there's one in my closet. We should go check. Let's see. Pike is a sexist bastard, and his sexism and douchebaggery is apparent.
But he's not sexist in the way Shatner is, though.
Yeah, he's
more sexist in the women. Gross.
They shouldn't be doing anything.
Well, Shatner's more sexist than the women. And why do I have my pants on right now?
Let's see. Didn't they try to deliver the memo again? Captain Pike came back into the bridge, and he was surrounded by all those khaki officers, and they were trying to deliver him a memo, and they needed to put it in the proper laminated folder because otherwise.
Oh yeah, they gave him. Yeah, they gave him they look like a college student's English paper to turn in.
And then one thing we noticed about the episode was that there was tons of gingers.
Yeah, in this original version, there was gingers everywhere. It was a gingerbread squad. They were all part of the khaki team.
Yeah.
Is Starfleet racist towards gingers?
That's funny because khaki is kind of like gingerbread and gingerbread cookies and gingers.
Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread. He's my favorite character.
And his wife.
She had a name, but I didn't bother learning it because she's not even in it in the rest of the show.
No, they didn't say her name.
They didn't?
No, they just called her a Yeoman.
No, yeah. Oh, wait, what do they call her?
Yeoman?
I thought that was her name. Or was that just
that's not her name, that's a title.
Huh. What, I feel like Gene Roddenberry should have noticed that.
She's Mrs. Gingerbread Man.
Yeah, apparently.
But there were tons of gingers.
And she totally wants to bang Pike.
One of the best gingers, of course, is the doorman to the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
On the bridge.
The episode's boring, yeah, but there's a lot of reasons to watch it. One of them is that doorman, because his whole role on the bridge. I want his job if I join the Starfleet. All you do is stand by the elevator to the bridge for 8 hours.
But he did it magnificently because he looked so uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're making fun of him, but maybe that guy was just a great actor, and they told him to look uncomfortable.
Yeah, but he was just so uncomfortable the whole time. Like Nick said that. It seemed like somebody had farted in the elevator constantly, and he was just uncomfortable.
And whenever anybody came up through the elevator, he would lean on the wall, and then the elevator would open, and he'd immediately stand at attention. I'm like, that guy. I pray to God he's in the main series at some point because he deserves the work. Yeah. Whatever he is now.
And going from there, they went to the transporter room where we saw their matching away jackets.
Yeah, which I think they should have kept. Because, I like that, they give you a coat to wear when you're on the away team.
Fashionable and function.
I'd wear one of those coats if I had one.
See, and then we got a glimpse of the only Asian on the Enterprise.
Really, the only minority that's not ginger.
Yeah, and he wasn't Sulu either, so that was disappointing.
Yeah. I just realized the away team coats are kind of like robes, but like for outdoors. Like, you know how you wear a robe inside and everything, but like, it's like I don't want to ruin my clothes when I go out, so you put a robe on, but it's like good looking. they're like away team robes.
I want an away team robe.
That'd be awesome.
Well, going from the transporter room, they ended up on the planet where they had a very nice flat wall background.
Oh yeah, even though it's all flat walls, it should be said that they are really good hand painted backgrounds.
Yes,
which you don't see anymore, and the big styrofoam rocks, which I like because you could totally tell they were styrofoam.
I liked the away team crew member that had the fridge as his backpack.
Yeah, he brought. It was a fridge with an antenna pretty much on his back.
He stored the sandwiches.
It's like he attached an igloo ice chest to his back with an antenna on it.
Oh, and then one of my favorite parts of the episode happens. They approach some blue vibrating leaves, which Pike and Spock and the rest of the away team approached very in awe, and that's where you get the only moment of Spock smiling. Like, he is so gleeful that these leaves are vibrating.
It's like he just got kissed for the first time.
Yeah.
But what was I thinking about just now? Oh yeah, the dude with the fridge on his back. What was that for?
They never say.
Because I thought maybe it was for World War II. They had those big backpacks that were phones.
No,
but
they had their communicators.
They have communicators. So
I like to think it was for holding the sandwiches.
Yeah.
Anyway. While they were looking amazed at the blue vibrating leaves, the ginger lieutenant commander.
Oh yeah, he was so terrified. Lily was terrified to me.
He's terrified.
Like, if you look over Spock's shoulder, he's just wide eyed. I'm just like, oh god, what is this new fear that?
He was attacked by vibrating leaves as a child or something.
Well, like I said, they don't approach it very scientific. In the show that we know, Spock would be like, "Oh, Jim, watch out," because whatever, and they'd have to scan it. But in this one, they just walk up and it's like, "Oh, it's vibrating. Oh, it feels good in my hands."
I think at this point, I wrote down the long episode because I was like, "This is the longest episode in the world." And let's see, there's no red shirts. They had very sparkly wool on those jackets.
Yeah, it's like it had sparkles woven into it. Can you do that? Could you weave glitter into a jacket?
I want to try. Let's see, another great part is when Pike introduces himself to the non-stranded ship people that aren't actually real.
Oh, yeah, we should point
Christopher Pike and his spaceship men.
We should point that out. They do get a mission. They didn't have one in the beginning, but their mission, they find a distress signal of it's always a distress signal with Star Trek, isn't it?
There's just so many people distressed in space.
It's like they get a distress signal of a ship that crashed there 18 years ago when technology wasn't so awesome. Because they didn't have desk lamps back then.
No.
So they didn't have desk lamps to look at the controls in the dark. So then they crashed.
Mm-hmm.
That's my version of it. So, and then they find the distress call, and then it's a bunch of old people, and then one fucking 30-year-old.
Of course, there has to be a hot babe.
Yeah.
I'm Christopher Pike, and these are my spaceship men.
Which we're not lying to you. That's the verbatim line from Pike. What's the next thing on the list?
Hot babe.
Oh, we went over that. Yeah, blonde chick. Wearing lipstick, by the way, and eye makeup.
Of course. They said that she survived as a baby, but how would a baby survive a spaceship crash?
Also, don't they point it out later that, the first commander chick at the end of the episode was
She pointed out that,
their age was different, yeah.
No, it was because, she was written in on the roster as an adult.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I guess the baby wouldn't have survived.
Yeah. And that was pretty good, prosthetics on the aliens.
Oh yeah, they had the big head veins because they're hyper beings.
Speaking of those, they're stereotypical alien right there. They pick you up and they probe you.
Oh yeah, but it turns out the distress call was fake. I think.
Yeah.
I think somebody did crash there.
Yeah, they did crash, but the distress call was fake and put in by the.
It's to find the prime human to contain, because apparently
to begin the species, because they had not any knowledge of how to work their ancestors' machinery, so they needed to like build a race to do it for them.
And they're hyper intelligent. They couldn't figure that out.
Yeah.
What is this microwave? What do these buttons do?
No.
Can't use my brain for it. Which, by the way, good prosthetics on them, but their heads look like. Well, if we're gonna be PG about it, they look like peaches. But if you're gonna go vulgar, they look like ball sacks. Or they look like big asses, just attached to the backs of their heads. If you don't believe me, look it up.
Do you think they molded somebody's butt and just like...
I bet it was like they were like, we can't have it be perfectly round because it's a human head, and they were just like, just put a dent in them and just like put a crease back there.
I bet someone was like, that looks like a butt, man. And they're like, no.
Maybe the prosthetics guy was just fucking with people.
Maybe. And then let's see.
He's like, this Star Trek shit is not going to go anywhere.
They capture Pike because he's
the prime human, and I made air quotes for that.
Yes. But he wakes up face down on this bed that looks like it's a massage bed.
Yeah, he looks like he just had the most amazing massage of his life. The most amazing massage of his life. I'm calling them now.
Mm-hmm. And we kept repeating how much this episode seemed like the Twilight Zone because there was like nothing.
It has the same atmosphere.
Distinctly Star Trek.
Or since it's in color, we could call it the Night Gallery. That was the show that Rod Serling did afterwards.
Oh really?
Yeah, but like it's like the feel of it is like an episode of the Twilight Zone that takes place in space. Trust me, I'm the fucking Twilight Zone guy. The way you're the Star Trek chick, I'm the Twilight Zone guy because I've seen every episode of Twilight Zone.
I think those should be our names now. But let's see. This chick just wants to pleasure him all the time, and she just seems like she's always going to give him a blowjob.
Well, like in the first time when she leads him to like their hidden elevator thing, like there's the distress call like village, and what did they say, she had magical powers or something like that?
They were like this thing has magical powers, you should come see it.
So like she like takes him over there, she's like, I'll show you my magic, and it's like she's gonna blow him behind a rock, isn't she? And then boom, it's aliens and there's an elevator.
The aliens tase him with like Cheeto dust though, don't they?
Yeah, it was like they threw Cheeto dust at his face. My favorite part of it though is like this is the first part we saw of Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread being badass.
When he was being a badass and like firing the laser.
He got kidnapped, and like they tase him with the Cheeto dust. They throw Cheeto dust in his face. And then they take him into this, like, obviously elevator hidden rock where it's just, like, two big rocks that are, like, jigsaw pieced together. And then fucking Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread just pulls out his fucking phaser and opens fire on it. And then just, like, starts unloading into it. Spock gives up because he's like, oh, we're not going to break through there. And then he just keeps shooting it.
You look at Spock, though, and it looks like he just came back from the beach. He was very tan.
Maybe they filmed that scene last, and, like, they had called, like, last day, and then Nimoy was just like, I'm gonna go to the beach, and they were like, Leonard, we need you to come back so you can do the scene over again.
And he was like, oh.
So he came back and he's all tan and shit. I can't really see Leonard Nimoy laying out on the beach though getting a tan. It doesn't seem like him.
It doesn't seem right.
Seems like he should just be wearing sweaters and inside all the time.
Sounds adorable.
Did you like, before we continue, have I ever told you about In Search Of?
No.
It was a show Nimoy did in the 70s where like they would just look for things. And, like, it was, like, there's, like, the most famous one is In Search of Bigfoot, where, like, Nimoy is just, like, the whole thing is, like, Nimoy is, like, in a room, in a study. Like, he wandered in and he was like, oh, I didn't see you there. And, like, I don't think he actually says that. But
I would be amazed.
But, like, he wanders in and it's like, you're visiting Uncle Nimoy. And, like, he's just...
No, it's Grandpa Nimoy. Haven't you seen his Twitter?
Oh, yeah, we're all his children now, grandchildren.
I love him.
Must be weird for his actual children.
I bet. They're like...
So you're our grandpa
like,
now.
Grandpa?
But, like, In Search Of is, like, he just, like, you're in his study and he just tells you about these things and it's like, In Search of Bigfoot. And he's like, people have wondered about the Yeti or the Sasquatch, or as it's commonly known now, the Bigfoot. And, like, it's like those really shitty, like, ancient alien shows on the History Channel now, but, like, with Nimoy, so it's awesome.
I bet that's great.
Yeah, if you can find full episodes of it, you should totally watch it. We should totally watch it for this.
We should. Let's see, the material that Pike's bed is on is also the material of the Vera woman's dress and then the alien's robes.
Yeah, which I thought was a mistake, but apparently it's a plot point.
Yeah.
Because, like, we were making fun of it, and then halfway through the episode, Pike is just like, your dress is the same thing that their stuff's made out of, and I was like, Gene Roddenberry just fucked with my head.
We thought they just like ran out of material, or they had a cheap budget.
As hokey as this show's written by Gene Roddenberry, he like actually put in good stuff every now and then.
I love Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I think he's genius. Didn't you say your mom's couch
he's genius
looked
Roddenberry.
like that stuff?
I think we had a couch that looked like that.
So it turns out Nick is part of that alien species.
Yeah, whatever they were called.
I have no idea.
Big brains. Butt brains. Butt brains.
Butt brains.
They were the butt brains.
Captain Pike and the Butt Brains.
That's my new band.
Let's see. He tried to escape, but it sounded like Jello.
Oh yeah, they have like an invisible field on it.
See, then we got a chance to look at the gorilla boar.
Oh yeah, Pike goes out of he looks out of his glass cell, or I guess Jello cell, and like looks at all the other things they got, because apparently I guess they just capture one of every species. That's like the best one.
Yeah.
So like in the thing with him is a gorilla man who's also a hog. Which if you've ever played Duke Nukem 3D, they look like the hog policeman. That's what it looks like. And like he's just there and he's like whoa, 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 whoa. And then like in the cell right next to him is just some 6 foot tall bird man, which I'm pretty sure it was Nimoy they put in there because he was pretty tall.
I would be so happy.
And like he's supposed to be a bird man and he's like I don't know.
It was just like, Mr. Roddenberry, can I please get out of this? And he was like, no.
But like you can see the little strap on his bird mask if you look at his head. I saw it. It's like you can see the strap, the fucking like the strap you pull to put it around.
That's amazing.
So, but like, which is the thing I was wondering. Like they got Pike there from a fake distress call. What did they use to get the gorilla man there? And
Bananas.
What did they get? Bananas and fucking like bird feed.
Yes.
They put like a intergalactic bird feeder out there.
Oh god. Well, and this episode involves Pike not being sure what he is, because like he describes the Enterprise as a space vehicle instead of a starship as it's known in every other Star Trek. You know, I like to drive my space vehicle sometimes.
My space Vespa. I want one.
Let's see, the planet that they land on looks like an everlasting gobstopper.
Oh yeah, when they look on it through their view screen, like it looks like just a big everlasting guy. Or did you ever watch Ed and Eddie?
Yes.
It looks like the Jawbreakers.
It does.
It looks like the big Jawbreakers that Ed and Eddie have.
And then we got introduced to the female gingerbread man. So Mrs. Gingerbread Man.
Well, she was in there earlier. She was the one that wants to nail Pike, right?
Yes, she was.
It's hard to keep up with who the gingerbread man is, because like there's also a dude on the bridge that works the bridge. There's the elevator guy who's ginger. Then there's like the guy who navigates the ship who's also ginger.
He's the same guy as
That's the same
Gingerbread
guy.
Man.
I thought they were two different guys.
It looks like they're two different guys from the angles, but they're the same guy.
Was Lieutenant? I thought Lieutenant Ginger was like a blue shirt.
No.
He was. He was khaki. Oh.
Yeah.
It's so weird when you had khaki too. They should bring the khaki shirts back.
I don't think so. I do not like the khaki.
Maybe that was in like Star Trek Enterprise. I don't know. You've never watched that yet.
No, I have not.
What if they could go back and they have khaki shirts?
Let's see. Spock manages to make a very correct guess as to the plot point of the alien men.
What was that? I remember that.
That they are intelligent and they want to keep him under observation.
I must have been.
And they have great mind powers.
I must have not been paying attention then. I didn't notice that. What I did notice was that the scene where Spock would look like he was telling a story in the break room.
Yeah, I did.
Like when the scene starts, they're all talking, and like from a distance, it looks like you're walking by the break room, and Spock is in the middle of a sex story because like everybody's gathered around him at the fucking lunch table. Oh, it was great.
Let's see, those were some great effects that they had there. Okay, I'm trying to read through my notes, and it says, nice background, hide the sausage, come.
Hide the sausage. Oh, God, I actually remember what that was.
Oh, do you?
It was,
I didn't remember.
It was when Pike first goes into his like, trip in, like, his dream world. It was, like, some kind of weird medieval castle, and the blonde chick was there. And, like, you wrote that down, because as she was running forward, I said, let's play hide the sausage. And then she was like, come, right after I said that, and I was like, see? So, and then like they went into like a medieval castle, and then there was just this big barbarian guy, and they're wrecking shit, and he had the hillbilly teeth that you get from the vending machine at Walmart.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah,
but he also had like the most amazing blue eyes that were kind of like cross-eyed.
No, that was the alien. That was the alien who had the lazy eye.
No, but
The barbarian guy did too? Do they just hire fucking lazy-eyed people for this show? Is there a big section of lazy-eyed
I think they're trying to
actors
say
in
that
SAG?
lazy-eyed people are evil.
I guess so, because like the two in this show are fucking like evil as hell. Well, I guess the aliens aren't necessarily evil. They're just kind of highly
Messed up.
intelligent and stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we can't work these machines. Better like breed human. Why not just ask for help? Why not just call Starfleet and be like, how do you work a microwave? What is the iPad?
They're like old people.
Yeah, it could just be like old people. Like they got like they're all fucking wrinkly and shit from the because they got the big brain.
So we're
veins.
saying these aliens are actually old people who aren't used to technology.
Basically, but it's like instead of your grandpa like calling you and asking you, he's like kidnaps your older brother and tries to breed him.
That's messed up. Let's see. The blonde chick, I think her name is Vera or something, Vera. But she was a terrible actress.
Yeah,
she had like the worst.
Well, you could see why she was there.
Yeah,
she shows mid thigh. That's provocative in the '60s.
See, Pike runs like a middle-aged woman.
Yeah, like he keeps his arms at his sides and like jogs.
It's slightly adorable, but
which also like going back to the barbarian guy, the fight with Pike, we were like trying to measure up how well he goes up against aliens compared to Kirk.
Not that well.
He doesn't ham it up enough. And like
Kirk is like, I will punch anyone anytime.
I don't think he wrote it down in there, but do you remember when he throws something at the barbarian guy and it's totally not him throwing it? Like,
I didn't write that down.
They close up on Pike's shoulders and like he makes a motion like he throws and like he's horizontal to the barbarian, but like the fucking mace comes from like the top right of him, so it's like some dude off screen throwing it.
Let's see. We decided that they believe that black women are better at working.
Yeah,
because all the white women are rather lazy, except for number one.
As as much as you could say about Star Trek being kind of sexist with Shatner and all, and Pike, but like at the same time, it's like good for racial equality, I guess. Well, with Sulu and all.
Yeah.
And Vulcans. Not Romulans, though. Dirty Romulans. They're watermelon.
We were trying to figure out what the Gorilla Man's test was and what the Birdman's test was, because they were testing the humans.
Yeah, they were seeing if Pike was like the prime human.
Like if he was adaptable enough. So what did they test the gorilla with? Did they like put him in front of a banana and was like, go?
He had to fight a giant banana man. Oh my god, I want to watch that show now. Forget Star Trek. Let's do a podcast about that show.
You said that for the Birdman's test, he was going trick-or-treating.
He really looked like a costume. Well, I guess he was. But like, yeah, it looked like he was about to go trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treat.
The giant phaser kind of looked like a big bottle rocket. Like they brought in a giant phaser to break down the door of the alien lair.
I thought you were going to say a big bong. Because honestly, it kind of looked like a big bong, too.
It did, but they brought in this phaser to break down the door.
That was like, it's like the Starfleet, the place like of like the most intelligent minds. And then it's like, I can't break down this door with my phaser. Better bring a big-ass phaser.
And it looked like a bottle rocket. Like, they made it together, and then they all ran away, put their goggles on.
Imagine if, like, they light it with, like, a fucking, like one of those long campfire matches. And it's like a cannon, and they run off. Like, dude, it's gonna be so awesome when it goes off.
Those are some sick goggles, though.
And they broke a fucking window, and they had to tell their mom about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. The goggles were very fashionable.
Yes, they were.
Did you write sick goggles on there?
I wrote sick goggles, but they wore them, like, the strap underneath their ear.
Yeah, is that a thing?
I've never seen that before.
Oh, maybe that's the smart way to do it.
Maybe we're just dumb.
Maybe we weren't wearing glasses. I don't know.
They look like ski goggles.
I didn't do very good in chemistry. And we've never been skiing. We live in Texas, so.
Yeah. Let's see.
What's after the sick goggles?
I wrote the longest episode ever. I just kept ragging on how it was such a long episode.
Isn't that the second time you've written that?
Yeah. I'm sure I wrote it down a third time, too.
It's probably like on the last thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I just realized if people like this episode and Boldly Go gets sort of popular, we're gonna have to make t-shirts that say Pork Pilot. And we're gonna need to make a pig. We're gonna need to make a pig wearing the captain's uniform. Or wearing a khaki shirt.
I really want to know why I wrote that down, but I didn't.
I want to know what it was.
Let's see. They declared that it's a trap twice in the episode.
Yeah, they use the Akbar.
So
It's a trap. No, so fucking Star Wars did that too. What if George Lucas, cause like when George Lucas was writing the original Star Wars, like he took a bunch of stuff from like movies he liked. So like samurais were like Jedi. What if he like was watching Star Trek one day and was like, it's a trap, and he was like, I'm putting that in my movie.
let's see, skipping down a bit. The blonde woman acted like a robot, pretty much.
I thought she was a robot at one point,
Yeah,
but
you did.
but she is actually a human.
She was like,
And
I'm a real breathing human.
Pike thought she wasn't even real at all.
Yeah. Then, let's see.
The real breathing human thing, I thought she was going to try to have sex with him there.
Yeah, me too.
She's like, I'm totally
she was, like,
real
staring into
in
his
all the
eyes.
right places.
And then, shortly after that, he began to feel up the metal wall behind him. Just,
Before we talk about that, I just thought of like, what if she's like, imagine, she was telling Pike like, imagine any fantasy you won. It's just like she's immediately having anal. It's like that I Dream of Jeannie thing where like every episode of I Dream of Jeannie you're like, is he gonna have sex with her yet? Because you know that would happen.
Oh, God. Okay.
What were we talking about? The feeling up the wall?
Yeah, he decided to feel up the wall. Nice metal.
I mean, I guess that was a good idea because, like, you know, if he,
but the way he went about it, he was just like stroking
he wasn't
the
like
wall.
he wasn't like doing like the thing where you like feel out every inch. He was just like grope. It's like the wall had boobs and he just had to feel each one.
And those were really some stereotypical aliens. Like he was gonna go home and be like the redneck.
Yeah. I remember it said
I got done probed by some aliens.
There was a part in the episode where he said, "You're gonna probe my," and I thought he's gonna say anus, and then he said "bind," and I'm like, "Oh, that's not where I thought you were going with that."
And then we discovered that Pike has a very terrifying psyche when he is plunged into his own dream of like hell.
The reason he gets put into that, like, we forgot about like the thing. He's feeling up the wall, and that little thing opens, and he freaks out and like tries to get it open, and like. They left like a little cocktail glass in there for him, and the alien shows up.
Here, have a martini.
The alien show. It's the fucking doctor guy. Made you another martini. But like an alien shows up and was just like, it's like a healthy protein drink for you humans. It's what you humans call water, which he doesn't say, but he should have because it just looked like water.
It did. It probably was just water.
Though apparently it was supposed to be a thing that would fill him up, like he wouldn't be hungry if he drank it. Or something. I guess it's like one step below pill form of eating.
Oh well.
Instead of swallowing your pill and then drinking it and tasting it, you just drink it.
That just seems disgusting.
You know they kind of did that because there's this company called I can't think of it, but like it's a company that made sodas that were flavored like food.
Jones
sodas. Yeah.
I've tried the Thanksgiving version of Jones sodas. So it was like pumpkin pie, turkey and gravy, mashed potatoes.
Okay, I haven't tried
cauliflower. They are not very good.
Yeah, I haven't tried that, but if you've ever seen Brad Tries, which you should look it up and totally watch it if you're listening to this, Brad Jones, the Cinema Snob, he does a show called Brad Tries where he just tries random shit. Like he tried green tea Kit Kats from Korea. Ooh. I don't remember watching that episode, so I don't know if it was good or not. But he tried the whole. Him and his friends all tried the sodas, and apparently the mashed potatoes one was the worst.
Yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah.
Well,
apparently the cherry pie one though was amazing. I don't know. Did they have the cherry pie one for yours?
No, I think they had pumpkin pie, but pumpkin pie was not good.
I think the cherry pie might have been the Christmas one.
I mean, after that long tangent, let's continue back.
Oh well, there's going to be tangents, otherwise it's not fun.
That's true.
I wonder how long we went on about Jones sodas.
I don't know.
What were we even talking about? We were talking about Pike drinking that shit.
Yeah. I was going to go back to his horrifying psyche.
His horrifying hell.
Yeah, his hell looked like he had dipped his arms into, like, oatmeal kettles.
Which, I don't know if you've ever worked around oatmeal kettles. Those things do burn.
It's like your nightmare.
Yeah, it's like if you put your hands in, like, a soup kettle and a oatmeal kettle. Or just both the soups, since we have two soups. You're just like, that'd be mine.
We work at a food place.
Yeah.
So we know that. See, the lazy eye.
If you ever run soup kettles, don't touch them. They suck.
They're really hot.
Yeah.
And not like,
smoking
that's hot.
To quote one of the most famous celebrities of our time, Paris Hilton, that's hot. And Dose, when you listen to this, you're welcome.
Let's see. I think at one point Pike was like, "Punish me," and that sounded really kinky. Like, he needs to calm down.
Oh yeah, the alien that told him about the protein drink was the lazy-eyed one, right?
Yeah.
Like the main alien?
The main alien with the cool medallion.
Yeah, like he had like a funkadelic medallion. Like he had a funkadelic eye, too. It was just like one eye was looking at like Pike and one was looking behind Pike.
See, at one point they are on a picnic that is created in Pike's mind.
Oh yeah, this is where my notes come in. When they're on Pike's picnic, I wrote down my one note, Pike's pockets, about his pockets when he's in this little fantasy world. Which, when we're talking about that fantasy world, he had the horse and everything. Didn't you want to mention...
Yeah, all the Star Trek captains seem to have a thing about horses.
The Janeway?
I'm pretty sure Janeway liked to ride horses.
Is that just like a classification? Like when they make you...
Like you have to like horses to be a Star Trek captain.
Like when they you go to like officer school in Starfleet, it's like, do you like what's the word for riding horses? Equestrianism. It's like, do you like equestrianism? And they're just like, I don't know. I don't really care for horses. Denied.
See, the only one who doesn't like it is Sisko.
And
another reason not to like Deep Space Nine.
He likes thongs though. when you say Captain Sisko, all I see is fucking Sisko, the R&B singer, just thong 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 thong. That would be a much better show.
They had these sandwiches that were apparently his mom's recipe. She said they were chicken tuna sandwiches. What is chicken tuna?
Maybe she meant chicken salad.
No, she said chicken tuna.
No, yeah, I know she said chicken tuna. Maybe she meant chicken salad. Or maybe Gene Roddenberry's mom like made chicken salad and he was like, what are these? And she's like, chicken tuna.
Like if someone
it's one of those things.
Like to send me a recipe for chicken tuna sandwiches, I would be very happy.
If Gene Roddenberry was still alive, we should call him and ask.
I would. I'd be like, what do you mean?
Hey, Gene Rod. That's what I call him.
And yeah, those pockets were very shallow. Yeah,
the reason I wrote Pike's pockets is like he puts his hands in his pockets, but only his fingertips fit in, and also I don't think he put his hands in his pocket. I think this is what I think he did. He was just standing, but like he went like this. Like he like put his like hands.
You can't say you went like this.
Oh no, I'm telling you, and I was gonna explain it. Like you put your hand on your hips, but you put it backwards. Like you're like gonna draw a gun or something.
Yeah.
And then also the good stitching, I think that's in there.
Yeah, it is.
The good stitching on his denim jacket.
Very nice stitching on that jacket. And then from that fantasy, they went into the fantasy of the green dancing girl, and then Pike was sitting there with two other Starfleet people.
He was in like Space Rome.
Yeah, but they were like the creepiest men I've ever seen.
Who was that? I wonder who those Starfleet guys were.
I don't even know, but they were the creepy.
Maybe that would have been explained if Pike had stayed captain.
Maybe, but the bald man was especially creepy.
Yeah,
he had this smile on it that looked like
he Peter Lorre's fat cousin.
Attacked people. Yeah, that's when it started to seem like real Star Trek, because it was like, oh, this woman's green.
No, a green woman. Yeah, and her makeup was coming off.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was blonde lady.
Yeah, it was blonde lady. And then Pike runs away from the green woman, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like he runs backstage.
Yeah.
Like if you accidentally walk into one of the employees only areas at Disneyland, that's what it looks like.
And she looks like the She-Hulk.
Yeah, like if they had made She-Hulk when they made the... Actually, I think they did when what's his face? What was his name? Lou something. Lou Ferrigno. When Lou Ferrigno was the Hulk, I'm pretty sure they made She-Hulk. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was her.
Let's see. We go on to my next favorite moment with Spock is when the away
both
team...
the best moments of the show that don't belong to Gingerbread are Spock's.
Yeah. But they're trying to get the away team to transport down to try to save Pike. And it's 4 men and 2 women. And they transport, but only the women are gone. And Spock goes, the women!
Which, okay, like... the Spock part was awesome. But, like, the first time I watched it, I didn't notice the Spock part. Because I was watching Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread. Because he had his hand bandaged. Which they don't say why, so I can only assume that he fired his phaser so fucking hard that he broke his hand.
He was just so hardcore when trying to open that door.
So like, he had his hand all taped up, and also he had his fucking gat ready. Like he just had the phaser out. Like he's like, when I teleport onto the planet, I want to be ready to kill things. And we've already established the planet's empty except for the aliens, so he's just assuming that he's just gonna be there.
He is just one of the best characters.
God, I wish Gingerbread was in the rest of the show.
Oh, Lieutenant Commander.
They should just have replaced Wesley Crusher with that guy. Wesley Gingerbread. Gingerbread Crusher. Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I know we're not on Next Generation yet, but, like, did Wesley have any good episodes?
Not really.
Not really? That sucks, because Will Wheaton's a good actor.
Yeah, they just got kind of weird towards the end.
So many people wanted that kid to die.
Let's see, and then they transported the women down so that Pike would have options, and it was just like a weird sex party.
Yeah,
and then at one point he seemed like he was actually going to have sex with one of them.
Which one was it?
It was Mrs. Gingerbread Man, because she like ripped open his or he ripped open her jacket.
Oh yeah, but it was just to get her phaser out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Oh, never mind. And their phasers don't work. But then, like, they get into the whole mind games part with the aliens, because, like, he points the phaser at the wall and nothing happens. And then he's like, oh yeah, but when he was doing that, remember, he's got the phasers and he's like, I'm imagining rage and hate.
Yeah, that's when we found out that Pike is a very violent man.
He's a very disturbed man.
He is.
If they had gone with Pike instead of Kirk, I feel like the show would have been like House.
It would have been a lot darker, yeah.
Like, you know how, like, around season 6 of House, like, House just started tripping balls and Vicodin and, like, imagining shit that didn't happen and, like, wound up in a mental hospital. House got crazy.
I feel like Pike would have gone along the same route because he is very disturbed.
Pike has to deal with a Vicodin addiction. He's, like, saying he slept with Gingerbread. Not Mrs. Gingerbread. Gingerbread. That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
I mean, he's like, Sulu, did you sleep with Gingerbread Man? Yes, Captain.
Yes, Captain. There is not a lot of time on the bridge, which is weird for Star Trek because Star Trek is mostly happening on the bridge. I
watched the first, the pilot episode of Next Generation until, like, 45% of that was on the bridge.
Yeah, like, for the most part, all episodes at least have a lot of time on the bridge, except for Deep Space Nine, because that's not even on a starship. Another reason why I hate Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, you realize we're going to have to watch it, right?
Yeah, I know.
Because we're going through the whole series.
I hate Deep Space Nine.
I mean, maybe it's like how Next Generation didn't really get good until season 2.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe Deep Space Nine just got awesome in the second one. Maybe Cisco, like, just went all and, like, sang the thong song. Because, I mean, by the time Deep Space Nine came out, Cisco had released the thong song, so... Because Deep Space Nine was, like, 96, right?
Yes.
I know... Was Voyager 96?
Voyager was, like, recent.
I know Voyager was in the 90s. Didn't Deep Space Nine come after it? Any Star Trek fan watching this is pissed off right now, or listening to this is pissed off right now.
I know.
They probably stopped listening when you said you liked Voyager.
It was,
but fuck you.
The original series, the animated series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise.
Ah, okay. Oh, never mind then. So Cisco hadn't released the thong song. Anyway, what were we talking about? We're getting to the end here, and it's good because we're coming up on an hour. So.
Yeah, that's good. It was dark on the bridge because the aliens took out the power, apparently, and it looked like they were about to break out the candles.
Yeah, like when all the power went out, that's the problem with having a fully technological society. Like the power went out, and all they did was like Spock and everybody else gathered around the table. And
yeah, they kind of just have to sit there for a while.
Can we leave the bridge? No, those doors are electric.
They can't even eat something because all their food is replicated.
Well, see, that's why that dude has the backpack
to hold all the sandwiches.
If backpack guy had been there, oh yeah, like going back to the backpack guy. Remember that one shot where it looked like Gingerbread had the antenna coming out of his head?
Oh yeah, because the backpack guy was behind him.
He looked like a ginger robot.
Nick, you said it looked like all the computers went to the blue screen.
Oh yeah, it looked like they were all blue screening. All their hard drives were wiped, and then Spock was like, "My porn, the women."
And then they're like, "This is why we shouldn't use Max." And then they had to go to the Genius Bar and park the spaceship in the Genius Bar.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. The Genius Bar is an actual bar.
Spock gets a drink.
Does Spock drink?
I don't know.
That's a question.
That is a question.
This episode raised so many questions about Spock for me. Like, I was like, what's Spock's first name?
It's like...
And then you were like, that is his first name. And I was like, Mr.? Because, like, in the credits, he's listed as Mr. Spock.
But, I mean, that's not his first name. His first name is just, like, Vulcan, and nobody says it. It's like...
It's like the Fez. It's like the Fez thing. It's like the Fez thing when Fez showed up in that '70s show. They were like, "What's your name?" And it's just like the bell rings, and he's like, "Blah blah 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 blah," and they're like, "I can't remember that." Did you know FEZ is an acronym for foreign exchange student?
I did not.
Yeah. So it's instead of FEZ, it's FES. Weird.
Well, anyway.
Let's do another podcast about that 70s show.
Anyway, number 1 has fancy empowered nails. Her nails are fabulous.
Oh, yeah. She had like blue, and they were sharpened too. She could cut a bitch.
Yeah.
She was like a ghetto number 1. She probably had like a tattoo of her boyfriend's name on her shoulder.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then the aliens had the slowest elevator ever, which just shows that they're not very smart.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention the whole like when they were playing mind games with him. How it turns out like when he fired the phaser at the wall, the way they escape is he fires a phaser at the wall, but the aliens make him think that it's not there, and like Pike's all like, I know that it actually fired, and like he reveals it, and it turns out there actually is a giant hole there, and they go outside.
That was very Twilight Zone.
Yeah, and then they go outside and see that like when they fired their big fucking cannon phaser at it, that like it actually did blow it up. But I wonder, did the cannon phaser, like obviously the cannon phaser caused all the destruction, but I wonder if Gingerbread was the one who actually opened it.
I hope so.
Because he fired the fuck out of that phaser. He broke his hand on it.
I have faith in Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread.
Like I thought Geordie LaForge was my favorite Star Trek character. No, it's fucking Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread.
At one point they say that they have to assimilate the humans, which reminded me of the Borg, of course. But were they the Borg? Maybe they were Borg predecessors.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool if there was like some sort of Borg backstory.
They should connect it somehow.
Because the Borg did come from some sort of society. I think that was like.
You should put that on like a fan theory website.
Yeah.
Like I bet it would actually become like canon.
If anybody has like this theory, please let us know.
But then again, this is the pilot, so I don't know how much of this carries over. Is Pike even in the main series?
He is, but he's only in one episode, and it's like weird.
Did they show it? Like, were they like, oh, remember when you commanded the Enterprise?
No, because it's
or
like,
is it just like he's Pike?
They continue on with the episodes, and then it's like, I'm going to spoil it, I guess, for you, kind of, because Pike is into like some sort of hospital. And then when he's in the hospital and talking to like Kirk and Spock and everything, he has these flashbacks back to this pilot episode.
Huh. Oh, so I guess the pilot is canon then.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they are Borg predecessors.
That'd be awesome. But anyway,
But then again, they aren't trying to assimilate technology, but they are trying to run technology.
I'm sure we can find a way to get.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to connect this.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
I mean, Gene Roddenberry found a way to get Shatner's shirt off every episode.
It's amazing. Pike's shirt never left his body.
Yep,
it was very disappointing.
That was definitely negative on his captain report. And also, no one died. No red shirts and no deaths. Like I thought Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread was going to be a death. Because
yeah.
like, remember that one scene like when in the beginning they walk over and he's all just like hanging out on a rock and then he's like, "Buh," and pulls the phaser out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure he was going to die there. Because I'm pre-programmed to the regular Star Trek.
Yeah.
In this Twilight Zone Star Trek, nobody died.
Let's see. And then we got a glimpse of the not Pike, the Pike stand-in, because Pike,
oh yeah, like
they fashioned like an imaginary Pike for the blonde woman to live with after they revealed how horrifying she actually was.
They get away from the aliens and like apparently humans are too like wild and crazy.
Yeah.
You crazy kids. They're too wild and crazy for them to be contained, so like they're like, you can leave, but the blonde lady has to stay. But
no, they didn't say the blonde lady had to stay.
Oh, she just didn't want to go?
She didn't want to go because she was like disfigured.
Because like she had survived the crash. She was the only one who survived the crash, and like there's like a transition like Manimal style where she just fucking like goes from old, like young to old, and she's all like, she got like a fucking Final Fantasy VIII scar across her face.
Like top model to like Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah. And then her Hunchback was like in that episode of Family Guy when Stewie auditions for oh god, what's the winner of Our Discontent? Which Shakespeare's that? You don't know? Damn. I need to study my Shakespeare more. When Stewie's auditioning for that one, and he rolls up the Hunchback and he rolls up his blanket and puts it in his back, and then he's like, "This now is the winter of our discontent." That's what it looked like. She like rolled up a blanket and stuffed it in her back. There's a long way to explain it, but people know what I'm talking about.
But anyway, back to the Pike that's not Pike. It just looked. The back of his head did not look like Pike at all. It looked like a cardboard cutout that was not him.
Yeah, his hair was way darker. Did I mention Did we mention? Yeah, we did. Pike looking like Ray Liotta.
Mm-hmm. And then I wrote down again that this is the longest episode ever. I was just...
You did write it down a third time?
Yeah, it was just...
Hat trick. Hat trick's when you do something 3 times.
Oh. And then you get to see the best doorman again for the last time.
Oh yeah,
because he was so uncomfortable. And then it's like the whole episode wraps up pretty nicely, like as it began, because you get to see the uncomfortable doorman again, and then you get to see the giant clipboard again. Yeah,
because like it was a whole plot point that like the ginger chick wanted to bang Captain Pike. Because I mean, he wasn't a bad looking guy.
Yeah.
But like she shows up and he's like oh, and then she's like, oh, ooh, giant clipboard. And he's like, oh, my giant clipboard.
And then this weird moment happens between Pike and the not McCoy.
Oh, yeah, like, because, like, it had been set up that, like, it was supposed to be, like, the aliens tried to convince him that if he had sex with the chick, they were like Adam and Eve, since they would start a whole new race, which, the Adam and Eve thing's always creepy, because then you're like, then they gotta have sex with their children.
Yeah.
So, and then you get inbred people. These aliens didn't know what they were doing. So, but like they set up the whole Adam and Eve thing, and they get back on the ship, and then he's just like, Pike said something about Eve. I guess they were going to like a place called Eve or something.
Yeah, I guess.
And then like he says something about Eve, and then by this point we weren't even listening.
Yeah,
but
the doctor was like, as in Adam and Eve, and then Pike goes, "You dirty old man."
He says something about all doctors being dirty old men.
Yeah.
Which, that's not true. Look at McCoy. He's an upstanding older gentleman.
I just love DeForest Kelly. Let's see.
I miss him.
And then in the credits, you can obviously see that the Enterprise is like on strings.
Yeah, and then they get their big like "This is Star Trek" moment at the end.
Yeah,
like your Boldly Go poster that has like the actual whole cast that we know. It's like they're trying to do that, but they're trying to do that with this pilot cast, and they all like pose on the very dark bridge with fucking Gingerbread Man, and the other was the note guy also ginger?
No,
he wasn't. He was brunette.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that like
the memo guy that we
focused so much on the Gingerbread guy, we didn't mention the other guy when Gingerbread was firing the phaser. There's that other guy who like isn't firing the phaser with him and Spock. He's just like on the side of a rock, going like, "Oh, like I can't believe this craziness is happening."
He must be new. And that's the end of my notes.
All right, and we don't have to go for another 3 minutes.
We could do like some sort of outro.
Well, yeah. What should our outro be?
I'm not sure. Thanks for listening. This is a very long podcast for a very long episode.
Well, I mean, like the podcast I always listen to are an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. And
do they make shorter ones? I don't know. I listen to like 3.
I don't listen to podcasts.
I'm sure.
I just make them.
If you're still listening at this point, you don't really need to be.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get the next episode. We're getting to the actual pilot.
Yeah.
We get Shatner in that one, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna get a whole bucket of shat.
We're gonna get lots of shat, and we're gonna get the original lovable characters back. And
does Spock do the Vulcan salute? Because he didn't in the pilot.
I don't think he does.
He doesn't. I guess they didn't establish that until later.
Yeah, but yeah.
So that's it for the first episode of Boldly Go.
I guess so.
And we're appropriately right next to a poster that says Boldly Go.
Boldly Go, where no man has gone before.
Should you play the outro music?
Should I play the outro music?
I say go for it.
Is there anything else we have left to say?
Boldly Go, because
Boldly Go.
We're doing everything. We're doing this one. Then we're gonna do the animated series, Next Generation, and Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to power the Deep Space. But before we get to any of those, before we get past the first series, we're doing the movies.
Yes.
We're doing the movies up to 5
at least. The movies are fabulous.
Because I know the movies. I'm the movie guy here, so I know Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock. I haven't seen the 4th one, unfortunately. Is that the one where they go camping?
That is not. That's the one with the whales, but that's still beautiful.
Okay, 59 minutes.
If you haven't seen the pilot of Star Trek, which if you're a fan, then you probably have. But if you haven't seen it, you can go see it just for Lieutenant Commander Gingerbread. Yeah,
like, you can have fun with it. Watch it with somebody else. Don't watch it by yourself. It'd probably be boring.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you sat through it. But then again, like, anything Star Trek related you sit through.
Yeah.
I could just be like, I have this blue footage of a background that says Star Trek on it. You'd probably watch it.
I probably would.
All right, let's wrap it up. Boldly go.